Alright, and now it's started back up. Like I said before, I'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about. And I think I already spotted the first thing here in a moment is not left clicking and right clicking at the proper ranges. So we'll talk through that in a moment. Oh, I think I actually skipped after you died the first time.
Oh, yeah. I did die at least once, I think.
So
I thought I had the flight here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just managing that. I'd get into the habit of pressing I need healing. That is a very important keybind to have accessible. I find often console players, especially, like typically don't even. They're like, wait, I can press that button. So I would recommend having that because that gives your supports an in-game audio cue as to where you're at, and it gets them to heal you faster because they get to locate you sooner. Also, if you're 57 HP, I might recommend just immediately turning around and dashing away rather than just continuing to sit in this corner. Just get you, be a little bit safer. I already spotted like 2 different techie things, but I'll save them up and we'll go over a couple of things at the same time.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
Okay.
My ultimate is ready.
Okay, we got a blade. Like they were pressing it ahead of time. That's good.
And I did go here when I saw the Zen die, because I wasn't sure if he had trans, so I did make sure to...
Well, you were correct. He did not trans, but then that leads to a major issue here. So, so essentially, how to tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight comes down primarily to kill feed, and watching who you're up and who you're down. Now, there are other things that go into it, but that's the main thing. And if we're watching kill feed, we want to be paying attention to just how the kills are going. When we are up or down 1 to 2 people, that is an advantage or a disadvantage, in which case we play more aggro or more passive, either or there. And then when we're up or down 2 to 3 people, that is a won fight or a lost fight. So when we've won the fight, we play extra aggro, we push, and then when we've lost the fight, we get out if we can. If we can't get out, we just let them kill us. And then in both cases, whether or not you've won or lost, you don't use your ultimates, because then it's just, if you've already won the fight, then it's just overkill. What are you accomplishing? Because your objective is already accomplished. If you've lost, then you're just, even if you pop your ult, you're still going to lose, and now you've just wasted it. So in this case, if we were to zoom out a little bit, hello? Why am I? It's not letting me free roam. That is interesting. I don't know why it's not letting me free roam. Did I mess up something? My apologies. Give me one moment. Spectates. I hate trying to find these spectator settings because they are always toggle normal spectate self. Yeah, that's probably gonna be handy to figure out how to fix, but it's not showing. I don't see it anywhere. Objective cam, no, not objective camera. No, that's all right. Let me know if you see it. If I can't find it in another couple, in 2 more minutes here, then we can just go without it. But That
I
would be
think you just go into the when you're on the people, you there, and then unclick me. Try to click me again. Like unclick me. Yeah.
no, but it's not letting me move
Uh,
around now for some reason.
mm,
I can try leaving and re-entering it.
Now ready for battle.
No, why am I still not able to move around? See, I think this possibly happened last time. I'm gonna try restarting the game really quickly. It's possible that happened last time I did console spectating or replays. I think it's just a buggy system,
yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah, now that I think about that, I think this might be the fix, hopefully.
Now entering. Ready.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Apologies for the technical difficulties. That's Overwatch just being stupid. Alright. So, now if we go back to where we were before, right as we blade. Yep. Alright.
Ours is ended still, so
Sorry, say that again?
ours is still ended. The stream.
Oh, okay. Wait, I don't know why that. Oh, because like, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Alright, so now that we're back to where we were. Right, when we go in for blade, now look at this third person perspective, right? And we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 2. Now in that scale we were talking about, and then also just hopefully some common sense. Who's winning this fight,
Hopefully us. I
or
mean,
who has won
it's
this
fine.
fight already?
Uh, hopefully us. I mean,
Yeah.
we do, but yeah.
At this
It's
at
all
this
right as ours.
at this point, it is already a one fight. Right, that's at this point, right? So there is a 99% chance that we win this. And though the 1% still exists, it's very, very highly unlikely, right? These guys would just back out. They're not going to be able to win this in a 1v6 in most cases. So, therefore, this blade it's just worthless, right? It just doesn't do anything. And we could just go and shoot him normal and probably kill him the same. So, therefore, watch kill feed. Make sure you're not ulting in won or lost fights. It's going to save you a lot of ultimates and also get you more value during actual fights. That whole concept makes sense?
Yeah.
Alright. Nice shots.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay. Be careful about dashing in super aggressively without an easy escape or without an opportunity. Here we're dashing in while he's in the middle being bubbled and is full HP, so that's not going to be a kill that we're securing. And then we're kind of getting into this like real aggressive scenario where like here he could rock us, Zarya can turn and beam us, Moira can shoot at us, and all three of those go through our deflect, right? So this is getting really aggressive for not really accomplishing too much. So I'd be careful about just dashing in without any plan, without any opportunity, because if he was 1 HP, well then go ahead, because now you can, you get the dash reset, you can dash back out. But here, he could very easily rock you there and then you'd be dead. Pretty much there. And then even Zarya just turns and beams us and it's the same thing. Right? We're just getting overly aggressive off of not a whole lot. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right. We are going to. I guess we'll give it another minute. I have two things I think, or one thing off the top of my head. There was a second and then I left. I have one more thing that I'm kind of keeping my eye on.
Keep the payload in motion.
I know I got that blade. It seems extremely slow.
Hmm. Well, we're probably gonna get it. You know, we used it on the in between. One fight just passed. We'll probably have it by next fight, which is kind of a typical ult charge time. Okay. I think we're gonna talk play style a bit and positioning. Just we'll do it after this fight. Can you request healing? That'll get them to look at you much sooner. And then we're dead. Okay, so we are going to exit and go here to the training range. So this is a very massive thing for people in a lot of cases, and that is target priority. So target priority is essentially who should you be looking at, who should you be shooting at? And the general answer most of the time is the easiest targets to kill, because the easiest things to kill actually die, whereas the hardest things to kill don't die, right? It's a little bit simple. Now, who are the hardest characters to kill in the game? That's going to be the tanks. Tanks have 2 to 3 times the health of other characters. They have armor. They have shields. They have tanking abilities. They are overall very, very difficult to kill. So if you are comparing like killing a Reinhardt to killing like a Hanzo or a Zen, you're literally talking about 2 seconds to kill or 3 seconds to kill versus like 15 seconds to kill in, you know, a lot of circumstances. So don't focus tanks. That's a very, you know, big first step to target priority. In a lot of cases, you're not going to want to stare at them. Now, it's not to say you never look at tanks. You look at them when they're low, when they're out of position, or if you just have a general opportunity to kill them. And then also you can look at them if they're like the only thing to shoot at, right? You don't really have other options, or you're just spamming or farming for ult. Those are a couple times that you can be shooting at those characters. But you don't want to just kind of be on them all the time. Now, looking back at your game, notice that when we just died there, we turned the corner, we had 6 people to shoot at, and the first person we're looking at is Hog, who's just not going to die. And then we did that, I think, like 2 or 3 other times, which is why I said I was kind of keeping in the back of my head to talk about, because I wanted to see a couple more examples of it. But it's just happened frequently, and it's probably going to continue to happen frequently, which will mean that you're not going to be able to, you know, secure kills. So keep that in mind. Also note that even among other characters, even among the DPS and supports, there's easier and harder characters to kill. So who's going to be easier to kill, a Tracer or an Ana? Ana. Who's going to be easier to kill, a Hanzo or a Lucio? Hanzo, right? So even among those other characters, there's still kind of a tier list. So something that might help is to come up with a tier list. So like at the, you know, near the start of a round. So just, you know, press tab real quick, scan their comp, right? You see they have Ball, Zarya, Tracer, Widow, Moira, Zen, and you just go through that comp and you go, okay, the easiest to kill is going to be Widow, Zen. Right, those guys, you know, you can make a tier of those. Then after that, probably comes Moira. Then it's gonna be like Tracer, Zarya, and then Ball comes last, right? And we can come up with that tier list, and then that's just gonna make it easier to know who to focus and who not to focus. That'll make sense.
An excellent fight.
Yeah, I think why I always do that is because I'm always trying to farm alt charge, because when I see like the pros are like 50 seconds and they have ult, and I'm like, I should definitely have ult quicker. So I think my thing is the bigger the target, which I know Hog gets 10% less ult charge, but I was like, if you're hitting more shots, you're gonna get it quicker.
So think of it like this. So even with pros, right? They get it really fast, but that's oftentimes that's not related to who they're shooting at. If you look at who they're shooting at, they're not just farming the tanks 24/7. That would be counterproductive for them. So that's not who they're shooting at. I would say that's related to other things, such as just general ability to land better shots. They're hitting more headshots than you. They're using their abilities better. They're doing more things, which means they're going to get faster ult charge. Additionally, even among pros, they're not getting their ultimate every single fight. because 50 seconds, a fight doesn't last 50 seconds in a lot of cases. A lot of times it can be shorter than that. So they'll go, you know, generally, as a general rule, you get your ultimate every 2 fights. Generally speaking, there are exceptions, right? You can charge it extra, could go an extra, you know, dry spell and get it every 3rd fight. But generally speaking, you'll use it, you'll go a fight without it, and then you'll have it again for the 2nd fight after that, right? So you farming the tanks, right? Think back to that last fight you were in where you're like 57 to your ult. Are you gonna have your ultimate for that fight?
No.
No. So you farming the tanks is not really gonna do anything. It's not. Yes, they're going. You're correct. They will give you more ult charge, but is it going to make a difference on when you're actually getting it? No, because by the time the next fight rolls around, even if you're shooting at the supports and DPS, you're still getting your ult. Right. So now that there's an exception, now there's also charging, you know, ultimate when you're close to it. Now, if you're like 90% to blade, go ahead, shoot at the tank. That's you're trying to get blade as soon as possible. So now that your objective is now should be ult charge, go ahead and farm the tanks. But if your objective is to get a kill, probably shouldn't be the tanks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So now let's do right click versus left click, or more accurately for you, right trigger versus left trigger, right? When to use the long range versus short range, and that's really just the simplicity of it is long range versus short range. Yet there's a lot of times where we're misusing it, so we will use our left. I'm gonna refer to this just because it's easier for me, so hopefully you can track where you use your.
I use like on PC too, so I know left right type.
All right, sounds good. So you'll use left click when you're really close to people, and you'll use right click when we're really far away from people. Now, what happens when you're using it from back here is you're only hitting 1 shuriken, and then you do this, right? Versus just left clicking, and you're much more accurate with it, and you're hitting 3, and you're farming it much faster. Or at a close range, you're doing this. Whereas if we're right clicking, it's a much faster fire rate, and we're just getting out that damage much sooner, right? So general rule of thumb is about 10 meters, because 10 meters, if you look at a squishy target, this is the range in which if we aim for headshots here, if we're going within 10 meters, we're gonna start to hit. I mean, sorry, we can look at the body, I guess is a little bit more accurate, right? We can look at the body, we hit all 3, right? But then we back up just an inch, and now we're only hitting 1, 2 of them are just going past, right? So 10 meters and forwards, generally speaking, is going to be your right click range, and then 10 meters and back is going to be your left click range, though the right click range, whenever possible, is what you want because you're outputting damage faster. So it can be extended with a few different things, like tanks. They have bigger hitboxes, so tanks you can do from a little bit further away. If you're just shooting into a shield, you can do that from further away. If you're shooting into like a big crowd of people and you're not intent, like if you're trying to specifically kill or shoot at one person, then left click. But if you're just hitting the entire group of people, let's say 4 ult charge, then you want to right click because you're just all your shurikens are gonna hit and now you're shooting faster, right? So that's just some minor stuff there. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right. Maybe notice like one time, make sure you're like using your right click before you dash. It's a great combo to work with. It's just gonna do a lot of damage really fast. There's maybe just like one time you missed it, but I can't recall if it was a repetitive thing. I think we can hop back into the game now.
Okay.
Now entering ready for battle.
We were ahead of that.
An excellent fight. Enemy turret destroyed. Enemy turret ahead.
Uh-oh, didn't seem to notice him.
I saw him. I was about to turn,
Turret ahead.
and I thought I could deflect him, but I was hoping he would miss.
Yeah, probably a good idea as soon as you see him just to deflect right away, even if you're not looking at him, because it'll cover your whole front. It'll, even if we're not shooting him, it'll mean that we're not getting one tapped, right?
Assemble at this
Yeah,
location.
I figured even if I didn't think he was gonna hit that headshot. I was like, even if I get a body shot, like I can deflect and get out. But
I
yeah,
would,
really bad decision.
yeah, I would assume that he's gonna hit the shot, right? Um, just, I mean, like as a general rule of thumb, you want to be playing as if you're playing at a higher level, right? You want to be playing as if the opponents are higher level and they are better at a higher level, right? Let's say, what do you currently? You say you're silver.
I am, I think I'm 2600 now.
26. Okay,
I
never mind.
think
Misjudged that.
I was
Um.
2798 this season.
Oh
Last
yeah.
season I hit 3004, but
My
yeah,
apologies. You didn't even put it over in Fiverr and besides the picture
oh, I
which I
thought I
see. So in any case, let's say you're playing against diamond players, right? If you're playing against diamond players, well, they're going to be more likely to hit that headshot. They're probably going to hit the headshot. So if you're trying to compete at that level or just get better and compete against better people, which is going to happen, well, they're going to hit those shots, and if you're not prepared for that, well, then you're just going to get one tapped like in this situation. So you want to kind of play as if they are better, because then you're going to not get killed. You're going to not underestimate your opponents. And then also, if you do go to that higher level or just randomly face an opponent of that higher level, then you're not going to be caught off guard because you're already building up better habits.
we get a lot of Smurfs on console, like a lot of Smurfs on the enemy team. Sometimes two, three. Uh,
Yep. So in those cases, if you're playing as if you're playing against better players, then you're just going to naturally be able to play against Smurfs better, right? Oh, that's the I guess we should talk about that. Maybe not. Request healing. Oh, slightly delayed reaction. Okay, spending a lot of time out of this fight.
I
Um,
saw that at least two to three people had died, so I was getting out.
so here in this situation, this is once again us maybe, let's see. At what point did we do that?
I was like, I heard the Hanzo, and so I shot at him, then dashed. I
Yeah.
probably should have
So this is us
right clicked that.
This is so you were saying you thought you lost this fight. I think at this point we're misreading the situation a little bit because we're only down one player, and additionally we also have closer spawns to the fight. Now Mercy did just die, but it's a 3v4, and that's not like 100% lost, right? That's just a disadvantage at that point. So we're kind of backing out of the fight and not participating in it very much. When
So
we could be
would
fighting.
alting have been bad there? Like, would alting have been
Um, I don't think so. In that situation, they didn't be. Honestly, ulting there wouldn't have been too bad. It depends on how well you'd be able to pull it off. I don't think that would be a bad option, but at least participating in it would have been better than just fully backing out. So I wouldn't say it's like a 100%. Yeah, you should have ulted, but it wouldn't have been bad or good either way.
Hmm.
Would have been an okay move. Okay, so couple things here. So firstly, what is the benefit of having a mercy damage boost 2 while blading?
You get what, 15% extra damage? 20?
hmm Now what's the word for that? What break points does that change? Like so when it comes to blading, right? when you go against a normal 200 HP character like Zenyatta, or they have a Lucio, right? Let's say like Lucio. If you're dry blading without any other any other damage boosts, it takes 2 slashes, dashes not gonna be a factor.
2 slashes and a dash, yes.
Yeah,
And
or no,
then it
or
is
just 2 slashes on a squishy target.
I on a squishy at full 200, I think
Yep.
it's slash slash dash.
Nope.
Isn't it?
Nope. It's 2 slashes. So the dash isn't necessary.
Oh.
Why don't we exit because we can go over a couple things anyways. So yeah, it's just 2 slashes. And then when you get, do you know what happens when you get nano boosted? What is it?
It's 1 slash 1 dash.
Correct. So when you get nano boosted, it's 1 slash 1 dash. So that is much better because it speeds up the whole blade. It allows you to get kills faster time to kill. The faster you can kill something, the better it is always, because you can move on to other targets. They don't have as much time to escape to kill you. So here, watch this. Slash, slash. Okay, we slash dash, doesn't kill them. We need another slash. So the dash is still handy because
I
it
knew
can.
slash dash didn't do it unless they were like at least 150, I think.
Yeah, so it's going to be on a full HP target. It's going to be 2 slashes, and then it's still helpful to dash because then that mixes up your movement and makes it harder for them to shoot you, and damages them faster if they get healed or have extra health, right? Now, Mercy damage boost is the exact same breakpoint as Ana damage boost. It's going to make it so that you only have to slash dash people, which
Does
as
it?
this, yes, it does.
I actually did not know that.
Yep.
My friend plays Mercy, and I'm not sure why I didn't know that.
All good. So you should communicate with them, because whenever you blade, you want that. Because once again, the faster you're blading, the faster you're getting kills, the more kills you're gonna get. Right? It's just gonna make things all around easier. And imagine if you just imagine if blade just did more damage. That would just all around be a buff. So if you're communicating with Mercy, or just like pressing I got blade, and then just letting Mercy damage boost you, all around it's just going to make it so your blade's better. Also, you get heals during it too, which is going to be good as well. Now, the other thing to keep in mind as well is, do you know what happens if you get a damage boost by a nano and a Mercy?
It's just 1 slash.
Just 1 slash, exactly. So it's even better. You can go through Transcendence. You can just kill things instantaneously. It just makes things all around easier once again. So communicate, get it on the same get on the same page with that. Right? Now let's talk about a little bit of playstyle and positioning. So positioning, generally speaking, what is your range as Genji?
The optimal range?
Yeah, so if you were to say, Genji is a short range, medium range, long ranged, short to mid, medium long.
Mid-range, because you want to be within, I think it's 30 to hit your dash at exact range.
So 30 meters would be from here to there, and
No, 20. It might be 20.
yeah, dash doesn't go 30 meters. Dash actually goes, if you notice that, it goes looks like 14 meters. So we're right here, we dash, that pulls us 15 meters, right? So it's actually 15 meters on your dash range, right? Now, if we're looking at what your range is while you're playing, you're actually a little bit more accurate. 30 meters is where you typically play when you're playing your games, right? Which means that we're just doing this the entire time. Now, what 2 things does that mean we're not able to do as effectively as Genji? Or I guess we could say 3 things. But go ahead.
Fast shurikens and no dash combo.
Yeah, can't dash at all, right? Not really. We have to left click rather than right click, which we already established. Right click is superior whenever possible because it's faster, right? Faster damage, more kills, better damage, faster ult charge, right? Just in general, right? Also, you're working with a projectile. You're a projectile character. Projectiles are inherently more difficult to land at ranges because at ranges you're going to they're going to be able to move out of the way. At ranges, you have to predict it from super far away. It's overall just going to be much more difficult at a range. Also, smaller targets means harder to hit. Overall, Genji is about like a close to medium, right, around that range. He wants to be playing preferably within a 15-meter radius from people, right? He doesn't always want to be on top of them, but you want to be playing with that in that range because then you're able to dash in at a moment's notice. So I definitely recommend get closer to the fight. Now that doesn't mean sprinting into them, it means getting closer to them in different ways. So one of those ways is firstly using cover. Cover's all over the place, right? There's cover using this pillar, there's cover using this corner, using pillars like this, doorways, cover's all over the place. High grounds act as cover. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. They can see us, now they can't, right? They can't damage you when you're around the corner. The other thing is not running at them head on, right? Every single fight it always looks like this, where the enemy teams are there and we're just sitting here and going pew, 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 pew. This is like Soldier and McCree and Hanzo's playstyle. And then even they will be doing this a little bit too, but if we're just doing this, we're not going to be able to really kill very much, right? This is going to be a very big, reason why you're not getting as many elims as you should be, because one, we're shooting at the wrong targets, and two, we're not really utilizing Genji's kit appropriately. We're just spamming from a distance, which
my worry is, which I'm not trying to blame anyone, but in Plat, it's a lot harder for the healers to notice you, which you said spam me dealing, which I have not been doing, so that may be a part of it. Probably is, but,
irrelevant, because when it comes to improvement, you should be playing as if you're not going to receive any healing at all, right? When you're playing, right, think of it this way: if you're relying on plat healers to win you games, well, then you're just going to stay plat forever, because you're relying on plat players, and plat players are always going to be plat. They're never going to be diamond players playing at plat. It's always just me plat and plat and plat on average, right? So you can't rely on other characters. So to not need to rely on your healers, you have a couple different things. So firstly, make it easier on your healers to actually do their job. Go stand in front of them, request healing, spam that. Also, use health packs. And then this is a biggie: don't take as much damage, right? If you are taking much less damage, you won't need as much healing, right? And that comes through using cover, taking the appropriate angles, which I will talk about in a moment with you, and that's going to be a big one in making sure you're not taking damage when you're close to people. Using deflect appropriately, dashing out of danger. Really, there's just a lot of ways to stop from taking damage, right? Like, and just really simple one, like we were just talking about, is cover usage, right? If we're standing right here, enemy teams are shooting at us, they go pew, 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 takes us 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover. Now in that time we just died. Round cover, they can't shoot at you, but if we're just standing here, well, now it takes us half a second, right? And imagine just what half a second will do for taking less damage, right? And that means that you don't need to rely on your supports nearly as much. Okay.
That's what I try to think about. That's what I've been trying to do with staying back a lot more, is the whole take less damage, because that has been my I watch a lot of videos from like Stylosa, and they're always like, take less damage. The less damage you take. So I was like, oh well, if you stay back more, you're gonna take less damage, and then I die anyway.
Yeah. So like, I would just say it's the right idea with the wrong approach, right? The heart's in the right place, but it's not in the right way. So think of it like this: you can be the most survivable person in the game and sit and spawn the entire time and never take any damage, but then also never accomplish anything. Yes, you're accomplishing your objective of not dying, but at the same time, you're also missing out on your objective of actually doing things and getting kills. So it's the same concept of, yes, you are taking less damage by sitting all the way back, but it also means that you're not able to actually do anything, right? So ways that you can take, you want to find a nice balance where you are doing things while also taking less damage, right? While being aggressive while finding out how to survive. So to continue on, like, one of those easy ways is don't come from the front. If we're coming from the front every single time, well, then they see us, they shoot at us. All 6 of them are shooting down this pathway, which just means we catch all of the spam damage, right? But if we did something like this, where we're coming in just on the side, right? This is the main angle. This is the off angle, right? It's just the the side of the fight. Well, now not all 6 of them are shooting at us. They're not all looking at us. We are going to have a surprise advantage, which means that we get to shoot at them for a full, like, second or two before they even turn and look at us, right? Additionally, this means that we get to instantly get around all the hard things to shoot at, right? So we are talking about tanks. Tanks are going to be on the front, right? You have to shoot at shields and tanks, and you're just spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming and never doing anything. But if you're doing an off angle, well, now you just instantly bypassed the tanks, the shields, and everything straight into their backline, where we can shoot at the supports and the easy things to shoot at, right? And then additionally, this creates an off angle, or a crossfire effect, where now on this crossfire, they split their attention, so now they're confused. Who do we shoot at? Who do we look at? Is it the Genji or is it the team? They're never gonna do it perfectly. They're going to either put too many people on you or too little people on you. Either way, it's going to be bad for them, because now that means that they're either giving too many resources or too little resources, which is just all around good for your team, and bad for their team. So this is just overall going to extend your life. If you're using cover and playing on the side, you take damage, we're instantly out. Off angles are inherently short and safe. They're not dangerous typically. So this is a way where you can close that distance and be within our 15 meters while not taking an immense amount of damage, because they shoot at us and we're like, okay, we're out, and now they can't see us. Does that whole concept make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Did that answer your question a little bit? Like how to be getting closer while also being able to stay alive?
Yeah. I do. It seems like anytime I try that, I try to take some 1v1s like Soldier, and I lose a lot of them. And I know a big part of it's aim, so that's why I've been trying to work on aim a lot. But I think
Know yourself in the
as
face
soon as
of
I get
death.
that, I definitely do want to try to hit a lot more like good positioning, because like on like first point Kings Row, I'll try to like go right, and that's how I died the first fight. I think I tried to go right,
And and the
and Soldier
reason
just blasted me.
Yeah, and the reason why we died was because we just left cover without, like, without properly using abilities. We kind of were ahead of our team a little bit, and so there's other factors that are going into it once again besides just it being an off angle. And then sometimes, an off angle will kill you, not all the
My
time.
aim is an
But
enemy.
I would say in that case, it wasn't just the off angle was the reason why you died. It was the other factors that went into it, such as just not using cover properly, not using abilities fast
We
enough.
will fight
We're
again.
not noticing. I think soldiers maybe like to the soldiers maybe like to the right of us, so we're not noticing soldier fast enough. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I ended up behind most of the team except Soldier, who was behind me and just blasted me. He was like
Mm.
further back on the left side of the pillar, and so I went to shoot at the tanks like I shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just
So another thing to be
sent me from behind.
another note here is let's come up with another off angle here. So enemy team, our team, main angle. Off angle would just be high ground. High ground is a very easy off angle. We just instantly get to the back line. High grounds are also very naturally safe. They're all naturally cover. Means that characters can't reach you. Two-thirds of the characters in the game can't reach you without the stairs. It also gives you a ton of visibility to work with, so high grounds are fantastic. As Genji, you can get there super easily, so I take them a lot. So that's the off angle. Now, the thing also to note here is there's a difference between off angling and flanking. This is the off angle going up here. This would be a flank. If I went pew pew shoot shoot, and then 1, 2, 3. So the flanks are much longer. and much more dangerous typically, or either or. So you've just spent more time out of the fight, which means that now you are not participating in the fight. So I wouldn't really flank too much during fights. And then also it's much more dangerous for you. So think, for example, one thing that was a flank in our last game was when we went up to that, on third point, we went up to the high ground, we dropped behind them, and we started shooting at Hog and just got mowed down by the turret. Right?
Yeah.
That was us trying to go on a flank. And Genji can go on flanks, but I would say oftentimes off angles are better. Characters that like to go on flanks are characters that have very high survivability and high mobility. Genji is kind of okay in both, but better characters for flanks to be a character like Tracer or Soldier, both of which have more mobility than Genji and more survivability than Genji.
I
That'll make
think
sense.
one of my problems is I am trying to equate some of what I've done with Doom, what's worked with Doom, because I have 200 hours with Doom. Yeah, I have a lot with Doom. So 208, and so I do go in a lot more with him on like flanks and like get behind him and then dash out and easier, quick kills.
Yeah, which is they're similar playstyles. We also do have to remember that they are different still, right? That they're different characters with different playstyles. So just keep that in mind. All right, we are approaching the end. So in a minute here, we're gonna do a review and wrap up and go over the main points of the session. Before that, do you have any questions about it?
Do a lot of these points equate to like Echo as well? Because Echo is the other one I want to work on a lot. When Genji's not viable, and there's a Moira, Zen, Monkey, and I know I can't really go Genji. Otherwise, I get cold. I'm feeding, and I am feeding, and so I do have her as the person I'm trying to back up. Does that equate? Do these points equate well to her
So,
too?
depends on which point we're talking about here. Genji specific ones, no. But there also are a lot of general things we talked about. So, Genji specific one would be like, we talked about his shurikens. And I would say that off-angling is something that definitely applies to most DPS. Most DPS and even tanks and supports can off-angle. But it's also going to be slightly different from one to one. So I wouldn't necessarily apply it. Like, you wouldn't apply it to a main tank. Main tanks don't usually off-angle. Reinhardt doesn't off-angle usually. And then different.
You'd be surprised what I've seen in Plat.
It wouldn't be a good play. But in any case, so that would be something. Yes, off-angling would be something that applies on Echo. An easy way to off-angle as Echo is just fly up. Because if you just fly up, well then you just get around get all around their shields anyways, right? That's an easy off angle. Is just
I think one of the big good things that I have been realizing is since I've been going for tanks, I do, like I said, get a lot of damage, but like a lot of no kills. And probably why, because I do, now that I look back, think of like hitting tanks like 95% of the time just because they're the easier target to hit.
Yep, and that's going to, yes, that's definitely something that will be applicable through Echo as well. Yep. Echo's not a super high survivability character, so I would try to off angle, and then flanking you can do it, but not not all the time. Especially if you have your ultimate, flanking is much more acceptable. Because you have an instant get out of jail free card. But so I would just think through like which ones of what we talked about. Think through what stuff is Genji specific and which stuff is just general tips and advice, right? And then if there's anything like specific you're wondering about, is it applicable, then feel free to ask on the specific. But why don't we hop into the review portion? So ability usage, a couple times where we deflect, just a little bit delayed, make sure we're just being a little bit faster with it. Dash, honestly we didn't talk too much about dash, just make sure you're staying within dash range. Overall I think with abilities we could have gone over stuff, but we just didn't have the time to, or we just didn't get into it at all. So for the moment, kind of a low to medium priority for you to work on. Then ult usage, make sure you're not ulting in won or lost fights. Make sure you're just coordinating with your other teammates who can help you out, right? You can combo with Mercy, you can combo with Ana, you can combo with both. Other characters you can combo with and communicate with would be like get a Zarya bubble, you combo with Grab, combo with Sigma Flux, right? Those are ultimates that you can, combo work with. Combo with Orisa Bongo and Orisa Pull, right? Those are all things that you can just use to your advantage. And then additionally, communicate with them in voice chat. Press the I blade in between fights. Say in chat, hey, we're gonna have a nano blade this fight, or Mercy pocket me, I have blade this fight, and then that way you have the plan ahead of time. Call it in, go like 1, 2, 3 blading, or I'm blading in 1, 2, 3 go, something like that. Just communicate, right? Just press all the buttons, do all the things, and then that way your blade's gonna be much more effective. Besides that, I don't think we saw a ton of blades. We didn't go too much into any of the
No.
other mechanics. So overall, that one is probably maybe like a higher end of a low to medium. Then it comes to mechanics. Left click at long range, right click at close range. That's going to be about 10 meters or so away from enemies is right click, and then further than that is left click. Right click is preferable whenever possible, does faster damage sooner, so you can back that range up if it's tanks or shields or big crowds, and then also look to once again put yourself closer to get within that preference range. And then other mechanics, target priority, shoot at brain farting. Shoot at the easiest targets to kill. That's usually not the tanks, right? But you can shoot at the tanks if they're low, out of position, or they're the only thing you can shoot at. And then also just in those cases, also just like it's easy to come with like a tier list, right, in your head to make it easier on yourself. Do that at just the start of a round. Just lowest, easiest to hardest who you should be shooting at. Trying to think if that was about it. I think that was mostly it. That was overall probably either a higher end of a medium or a lower end of a medium high, somewhere between that.
Like priority?
Yes,
Or
priority. Yep.
okay.
Then comes positioning. Keep within the proper range, right? We're playing, Genji like we're playing a Hanzo, and we don't want to be doing that because they're very different characters, and you're just overall going to be better off if you were on Hanzo or Soldier or McCree if we're going to be playing this range. But instead, get closer. Your preference range is 15 meters or closer, and that's not saying you can't ever do that, but it's not where you prefer to be. So close the distance whenever possible. Do this by using cover. Good positioning is usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. It's all over the place. Use it. Take high grounds. High grounds are fantastic. You can get there instantly. Also take off angles. Off angles are fantastic. They get you to the right targets. They make it easy for you to get in there to do damage while also taking less damage overall. And then be wary of, not never take flanks, but be wary of flanks so that you're not just doing them all the time and sprinting in and dying, right? Typically flanks are longer, more dangerous, whereas off angles are short and safe. Overall, that was a medium high. There's a lot of stuff in positioning to review. And then finally, awareness, pay attention to kill feed. 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight. I would remember those numbers because often people don't. They forget about them.
Can you repeat that? I am writing stuff down. So.
Sure. 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight in terms of kills. Don't ult in won or lost fights. If you've lost the fight, get out if you can. If you cannot, let them kill you. And then also just generally pay attention to your surroundings. What's your HUD looking like? What's the enemy team composition? Because team comp dictates playstyle. And then also just a couple times like somebody would sneak up on us and we didn't notice or we didn't react fast enough.
I am really bad with that. I'll try to hear them, and I just don't hear them until it's too late.
Yeah. audio settings.
My aim is
Firstly,
unerring.
there is turn up your normal volume if you need to. I recommend turning off or down music volume, as that can clutter with audio.
Music is 10, in-game voice
Yep,
is 25, and sound effects is 100.
sure. Yep, that works. Also make sure that your headset, if it firstly check to see your software if your headset already has surround sound enabled. And if it does not have surround sound, then turn on the in-game option, which is Dolby Atmos for headphones.
I do have headphones on for Overwatch. I have Overwatch headphones on
Yes.
in audio settings. I was just checking them.
Sorry, Dolby Atmos for headphones. Is that what we said?
It just says headphones. I have studio reference, home theater, television headphones, handheld.
No, that's not what I'm saying. So if you're looking at my screen, you'll see Dolby Atmos for headphones.
One sec.
Unless it's not an option on console, that's possible.
Oh, studio reference. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm not talking about studio reference. I'm talking about the one above that. Do you see where I'm?
The one
So
we don't have that.
it doesn't show that on console. That's interesting.
No. That's why I was confused.
Mm.
It's not there.
Okay. Well, that's not an option. Well, in that case, that would be handy if you had. Yeah, it would be handy if you had headphones that have surround sound, because that gives you better. Just
I have really good
Double triple kill.
Arctic 7 Arctic 7Ps.
sorry, your mic is going in and out there.
I got the Arctis 7Ps. They're supposed to be really good.
Okay, sounds good. Well, then in that case, just pay attention to your audio. Right? Keep listen for footsteps and abilities and ultimates and whatnot. And then overall, that would probably went to about a medium. So to put that all in order, number 1 was your positioning. Number 2 was mechanics. Number 3 was awareness. Number 4 was ult usage. And number 5 was ability usage. Any questions? Final questions.
Okay, so positioning mechanics. 3 was
Awareness.
awareness. 4 was
Ult usage, and then ability usage.
okay, awesome. Then yeah, I'll definitely be looking into this, and I don't think I have one scheduled for next week yet. But I will try to make it